We were quite taken by the BSA Bantam when we rode it a few weeks ago on the official press launch in London. So we asked BSA if we could have one for a little bit longer so we can get to know this bike outside of the 20 miles an hour speed limits in London and ride it on some beautiful roads and show you what this thing is really like to ride. So if you're considering buying one of these bikes, then this is the video to watch, because we're going to tell you everything about it so you can make your final decision. Wow, what a car. That is absolutely stunning. Oh, that smell, that is glorious. Oh. So starting with our favourite thing about this bike, which is the geometry. The rake, which is the angle of the headstock, is absolutely perfect on this bike. It's much more raked out than a lot of its competitors, which have much steeper rakes, which gives this a much more stable riding experience. So it's ever so stable at motorway speeds, but it's also really nice and flickable without being twitchy. So it's a perfect geometry, this bike, which harks back to old bikes really. Bikes have got more and more steeper rakes over the years, so it's ever so confidence inspiring, especially if you're a new rider, which this bike has partially been built to encourage new, younger riders into motorbikes. So when they get on this bike for the first time, and it might be the first bike they've ever ridden, or potentially the second bike after having a 125, they'll feel ever so confident on this from the get-go. But this also offers fantastic handling. It really is fun to ride in the country lanes, in the twisty stuff. So this bike's a real hoot, whether you ride in the city, out in the countryside, or if you want to use it for commuting, etc. It's a really good all-round motorbike in its category.
Royal Enfield have paved the way for motorcycles like this, if you think about it, because they've had a whole range of 350s for a long time. And in the UK, Honda have just brought out the GB 350S, which was available abroad for some time, of course. And now we have the Bantam 350. So there's more to choose from in this category, which makes competition much, much stronger. And at the price of £3,500 plus on the road charges, this is very competitive. This is the cheapest 350 you can buy at the moment, new in this country. The BSA Bantam 350 is similar in style to the Honda GB 350S and the Royal Enfield Hunter 350. And if you're interested in how it stacks up against those three bikes, we have done a video about that. So make sure you have a look for that after watching this.
Now, I've seen a few questions of people wondering about the quality of these motorcycles, and people, I think, sometimes in the UK have a little bit of hesitation about motorcycles that are made in India. But India have a proven track record of making quality motorcycles. Royal Enfields have been made there for donkey's years. Triumph recently, last year, brought out the 400 motorcycles, which are also made in India by a company called Bajaj. And they're both fantastic quality motorcycles, and this is no exception. For £3,500, you have to remember this is a £3,500 bike. For that price point, this is a fantastic quality bike. No, it's not the same quality as a Norton Commando, which is £17,000. But for £3,500, it's exceptional. It really is very, very, very good. And I would challenge you to see one of these bikes in the flesh and say it was bad quality for the price. Now, if this bike was made to exactly the same standard as this, but built in Britain, I would expect the price tag would easily be over £6,000. So that's another reason why motorcycles more are being made in other countries. Not much is being made in England anymore because it's so expensive. So if it was possible to build bikes for a cheaper cost in the UK, I'm sure we'd still see some more manufacturers building bikes here, but it's just not the case. So we have to deal with the cards that we're dealt. So it's a fact, it's cheaper to build bikes in countries in Asia and in India, and they do build them to a great quality. Now, of course, this is built to a price, and you do notice in certain areas, you know, they have save costs a bit. Like the switchgear is a little bit plasticky, and I have noticed on both of these Bantams that I've rode that the switchgear on the right hand side especially is slightly loose. It wobbles a bit, so I don't know whether that's not been tightened up fully from factory, or whether the hole and the pin that goes into the handlebar to keep it in place, whether the diameter is different so it's not actually quite doing its job. But that's a very small little issue, and various little bits of plastic here and there. But again, for the price, you sort of think, well, you can't complain all that much because it's such good value for money.
The other thing that really puts this bike on a pedestal is its engine, because it's the fastest 350 brand new out there. But at the same time, if you're in the city streets where you're not revving the bike very much, the power and the torque are peaking higher in the rev range, so it's very easy to ride around. It's not putting much power down, which makes it a very easy city bike. But if you build the revs on faster roads, dual carriageways, motorways, etc., and it will fly. It will easily do over 80 miles an hour, which not many 350s will do. One thing BSA have got absolutely right is putting this speedometer dead in the centre where it should be, so well done BSA on that, although not so well done for putting the scrambler on offset, but we'll gloss over that. The only thing is, like we've said before, it's very hard to see the RPM as you're going along. In fact, impossible. I can just about make out the line going up, but what number it's on I have no clue whatsoever. So it does need to be easier to read, but other than that it looks nice. So I mean, you can ride motorbikes without seeing all that. I used to do motocross, we had no dials at all, so you don't need it, but it is nice to know.
Now, if you watched our initial review of this bike, we said the main specs in there, but just to repeat ourselves in case you haven't seen it, but if you haven't seen it then you missed out, so go back and watch it anyway. But the main specs are 29 brake horsepower from this 334cc engine, to be precise, at 7,750 RPM, and 29.62 newton meters of torque at 6,000 RPM. It's got a 6-speed gearbox as opposed to 5-speed on the Honda GB350 and the Royal Enfield 350s, and it weighs 185 kilograms, so it's around the same sort of weight as its competitors.
We've had this bike for a couple of weeks, and of course we did the launch like Darcy said, so we've ridden it extensively, probably more so than a lot of people, and from that experience it's a very enjoyable bike in all situations. It would be great for commuting, it would be great as you're sort of popping around here and there into town bike, or you could jump on it and go down the motorway, strap a bit on the back somehow, go camping with it, or whatever you want to do. So it's a really nice versatile motorcycle that's good at everything, and when you stop somewhere people come and talk to you about it and say, oh wow, is that a BSA, let me have a look, and they're very interested to talk to you about it. So it's a great bike that attracts attention and that you'll enjoy riding and owning, I'm sure. This yellow two-tone, yellow and grey, is our favourite colour for this BSA Bantam 350. We'd like to know your favourite colour. There's a two-tone red, blue and grey-white, and also a pure black.
Now, if you're watching this and you like motorbikes, then hit subscribe on this channel. This is dedicated to motorbikes, reviews, lifestyle, comparisons, so you're in the right place. But if you like various other things, we have got 4 other new channels which you can check out. We've got Darcy's Drive, which is dedicated to car content. We've got the Grub Fathers, which is our new food channel. We've got Darcy and the Old Man's Grand Tour, which is going to be our travel content, everything off of the motorbikes in much more detail. We're going to film a lot more off of the bikes that will go on that channel. And we've got a shorts channel for our short form content. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, make sure you go and check those channels out. But if you just like motorbikes, then this is a channel for you. So to summarise on our thoughts when we initially rode this bike, we were very positive about it, and after having it for a longer period of time, we're still very positive about it. I think it handles beautifully, it's got a good amount of performance, best in its category, the stopping power is exceptional. It's a great value for money machine for £3,500 plus on the road charges. It's great quality for that price, and I think it's a fantastic new contender in the 350 category, and I'd like to see many young people out on these bikes, as well as people of all age groups. But part of the reason of this bike is to get more young people on motorbikes, which is something we'd really like to see. So if BSA can be successful in that, then we'd be ever so happy. So let us know what you think of this bike in the comments below, and if you do get the chance to give one a test ride, then again let us know how you got on, whether you liked it, whether you didn't, and we'll see you in the next one.